So I guess another week goes by, and I wound up, I had a meeting, and I was meeting with someone else, but in the meeting, uh, another biblical counselor was invited by me, and I would define her as my mentor. She was there, and I knew after the meeting that I just had to talk to her. And I'd already asked my wife, would it be okay? And she said, yeah, it's fine. So I sat down with her, and I told her everything, what had happened. And of course, she was sorry, to hear it. And I said, but something's just eating away at me. And I don't understand it. I have peace, and God's getting me through this, but there's anger there. I feel like I've forgiven her and this guy, but there's anger there, and I don't understand it. And I said, I don't deserve this. I didn't do anything to deserve it. She carried this for 20 years. Now I'm carrying it, come out of nowhere, and now I have to carry it, And she said, Jason, I understand. I understand you're upset. You have every right to be upset, sad. She said, but there's something else. You want to know what it is? And I said, absolutely, I want to know what it is. She goes, it's the truth, though. You want to know the truth? I said, yeah, I want to know the truth. And she said, you're full of pride. And I started laughing. She said, you're full of pride because of this. Not because you're saying she wronged you, but because you're saying that you don't deserve to be wronged. You don't deserve for anything wrong to happen to you. So you're not focusing on her. And yes, that's a problem. What happens is a problem. But you're focusing on yourself, and that you should not be wronged. You feel that you're above that. And that's prideful to think that, because the word states that bad things are going to happen to us, and for you to think you're above it, that's pride. And I said, you're right. And she said, and because of that pride, I don't know that you've fully forgiven this guy, this person. And I said, you're right about that too. And she said, well, you know what you need to do? You got to get on your knees, and you've got to repent over your pride. And I said, okay, I will. So I got off the phone with her, did that exact thing. Very emotional. It lasted for some time, and I get up, and it's gone. It's gone. The anger's gone, the rage is gone, the bitterness, this grudge, all of it's gone. And, I've always heard that people say, oh, it's like, God just took this weight off my shoulders. I've always heard that, and I thought, what? I don't know about that. And it was like 500 pounds had been lifted off my shoulders. It was unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, still sad. I was still sad. I still couldn't believe it. It was reality check every day. It was just reality would hit me that it happened. And I still had images in my mind and what happened, but that anger and that rage and that just darkness was gone. And through that experience, God revealed His love. Now, you may be looking at that going, yo, you're nuts. You're crazy. But I don't care. If you think that's your problem. I'm telling you this because I know it's real, because I lived it. And that was just the first miracle that God provided through this experience. Now, what's weird is that first week, she told me on a Monday. Months ahead of that, we had signed up for a marriage. It's not a retreat, but some sort of marriage thing at our church that just happened to fall on the Friday of that week. So, we're still not, things are still a little awkward between us, but we go to this thing on a Friday night after the Monday she told me. And the guest speaker, was someone I knew. Actually, I'd met him a few times. He was a marriage and family counselor. His wife did the same. I knew his testimony, or I knew their testimony. My wife didn't, but I'd forgotten it until they got up on stage and started to discuss what they'd been through. And he was an abusive husband. When they first got married, he was abusive. I think verbally, maybe physically, and because of that, she leaves and moves out for a bit. And during that time, she cheats on him. And so, as she gets up to tell her part, she tells that, and my wife looks at me and starts tearing up, and she can't believe it. And I'd actually forgotten that part, and so I'm going, oh my gosh, this is, how ironic, right? But to me, that was God's perfect timing, because he used that testimony, which aligned with ours, other than his part, being abusive. It aligned with ours. And I'll never forget it. We leave that night, and we had gone through different exercises and things. It was really good. God was there. And my wife looks at me and says, I can't believe that she got up and spoke about that, and she'd gone through that. I can't believe she had gone through that. And I said, what do you mean you don't believe she'd gone through that? She said, well, she's a biblical counselor, and look what she does. And I said, she's no different than me or you or anyone else in that room. She's just a person. She sins just like we all do. But God's used her testimony to reach others. Think about the divorce rate today. It's 50% or better, because people give up. No matter what the reason, it could be, it's always focused on self, but there's always an excuse. I said, and she's got a testimony to show that God can heal a marriage. I said, and so do we. She's no different than we are. And that was, to me, those were miracles, to see God align these things, this perfect timing. Had this happened 20 years ago, we would have gotten a divorce. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And other things would have gone on, because I had a really bad attitude. I was young. I was 25 years old. Things would have been bad. Wouldn't have had our son. We wouldn't have had our son. 5 years ago, I wasn't ready to hear this. I just wasn't ready. I hadn't been... God hadn't changed my life yet. Yeah, I'd been saved since I was 12 years old. It didn't matter. I wasn't living like it. And I was not where I'm at now. I wasn't ready. He knew that, and he saved our marriage 20 years ago. He saved it. And after this happened, after she told me, he began to provide trips for us to take alone, just to spend time together. Because again, we were confined to my parents' house, like in my old room, so we didn't have a lot of space. And so I remember, my wife, she had a business trip that she had to go on. It was just her, and I got to go. And it was at a resort, and yeah, she worked a little bit during the day, but in the evenings we had time together. So he provided that, and we needed it. We had scheduled a trip months in advance with some friends of ours, and we went, and they wound up getting there late, so we had half of it to ourselves. And he just blessed us with that time. And the trip there and back, in the car, it was 5 hours there and back each way, so that was just time together. And then another trip that just came out of the blue that he provided for us. So he was providing all these things, this time alone and time away from others, to where we could just spend time together and with him. And it was a true blessing. Also, the one thing that, even though I say we had a good marriage, one thing we never did was, we didn't pray together, we didn't read the Bible together. Those were private things that we did by ourselves. And God changed that. Every morning, after she told me, I said, look, we need to get up, and we need to pray together, and we need to read the Bible together and do our devotionals together, and we need to put God first. And we did. We started doing that, and that, I truly believe that changed everything, because we've done that since day one. We still do it today, and again, God working in our lives.